As I built my business, I've gone bankrupt twice and I've lost 2 homes. So I believe that now qualifies me to be a multimillionaire.
Today in the Blue Collar Boardroom, we're going to be talking about the gift and curse of the selling CEO. Look, I'll never stop knocking doors, and maybe you've seen our content go viral, 10 million views a month. It's because a $100 million CEO is still getting a door slammed in his face. And the guy that I got right here has built an 8-figure business. He started at $2 million, and he's also a selling CEO. And if you're watching this, even if you're starting at the sales level, I'm sure the journey of how to get to your first million in sales, your first 5 million, your first 10 million, it's all about success leaving clues. And the one thing about my man's journey here today, out of El Paso, Texas, he's in a market where he's one of the largest roofing contractors in the entire west part of Texas. He struggled, though, entirely while he was having success with something that I call Drake's quote. He likes to drink a lot to his accomplishments. You did that for a few years?
Man, it's a roofer's curse. I'll tell you what. First of all, Lee, thank you so much for having me over, inviting me to your podcast. It's great to be in Naples, and it's great to see you, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, brother. Ricardo Castellanos, 8-figure contractor, all-star contracting out of El Paso, Texas. How did you get started? What were you doing before roofing? If you've been enjoying this real roofing sales training, then you'll love our real roofing sales community. I want you to be a part of my door-to-door church. We have 3 calls a week, and this is in the past something that others have paid $60,000 for. And for my YouTube followers, I'm giving away an insane deal, 98% off. You're also going to get access to my entire library of training. My life's work has been teaching people how to sell roofs, make more money, make $1 million in roofing. You don't need startup capital. You don't need to be a business owner. You need to learn how to sell bigger roofs, sell retail roofs, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. We have a retail sales training call, an insurance and door-to-door call, and we'll teach you everything you need to know about getting into commercial sales. That's how you make $1 million in roofing. You hang around winners, and I want to invite you to hang around the top performers in the roofing industry. 3 times a week, we're live on Zoom, we're motivating each other every day in WhatsApp, and we're going to give you an app that you can compete against the nation's top performers and win prizes like Rolex watches. Click the link in the comments to be a part of the disruptive movement that me and Brad Lee are releasing on roofing. Real roofing is a movement. You are not like us. We're hardcore door-to-door, and we're raising the status for the blue-collar entrepreneur. Click the link in the comments if you want to be a part of the movement.
You know, my journey of entrepreneurship started when I was a UPS driver. I had just graduated from college, and I was working my way towards a master's. I'd been sold a lie. I was going to be a doctor, but anyways, Border Patrol agent approached my sister about the Amway, my wife about the Amway opportunity. And so he came over.
Oh, network marketing.
Yeah, network marketing. I'll tell you what, he showed up with his wife because the husband and wife showed to their husband and wife. He showed up and he was wearing a suit that didn't fit. And boy was sweating bullets. His tie was too tight. Guy kind of looked, I love the guy, but he looked a little bit like my sister used to call him Bart Simpson, and he kind of looked like him a little bit.
I did when I first started sales training with them stupid suits.
Oh, dude, remember that suit about 8 years ago, your first one? That suit was about 3 sizes too big.
Yeah, it was.
But it all started somewhere. Anyways, he came over. He took about 3.5 hours to show us a plan, which should take about half an hour. And we signed up. I didn't really build a business, but it exposed me to entrepreneurship. We went to free enterprise. I got to see regular folks building businesses, and you know, back then I was humping packages for UPS, was making quote unquote great money because everybody wants to work there till they get in the mix and start jacking up their knees and their back and all that kind of stuff, their shoulders. But I went to a free enterprise and it opened me up, man. I'm like, geez, I don't have to be a working stiff for my whole life. So I did that. I'd show the plan, kind of dabbled in it. And exposing to entrepreneurship, getting the door slammed in your face. A lot of training. Back then, they get you on the system, which was a weekly tape, $7. So you have to put the skin in the game, $7 a week, and you would get trained. And so I would listen to them, and then go out there and do it.
You've always been a student, and you know, whenever you even hired coaches before we started working together, right?
I have. I mean, I hired. You know, I can't remember some of the names, but there's been some. And before Grant Cardone, I was in his program. Gosh, a couple others, but yeah, I have.
When you were trying to get your first million, do you remember when that was, when you were trying to do your first million in a year?
When I started in the roofing, I transferred over into roofing because I used to sell yellow pages before these wicked devices destroyed that industry. We had a book locally that did $60 million a year. Can you imagine? That's a huge business. This is 17 years ago, Lee. And so these came in about 2009. I used to sell the shit out of the yellow pages. I was always at 450, 500% to quota. Anyways, long story short, they canned me. It seems to be a common theme in my life. I guess I'm unemployable. I'm a poor employee because somehow I would just get fired. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's all right. It worked out quite all right. So anyways, a lot of my clients were contractors, roofers, general contractors and such. So they canned me. Here I got $5,000 in my pocket. I don't know much about nothing. Back then, pay-per-clicks were $2.75 a click. Can you imagine that? So it was a while ago. So I got that. I'd run leads, and for 6 months, 5 or 6 months, I sold my first deal. But guess what? It was at a loss.
The first deal took a long time. You paid for advertisement. You weren't doing door knocking. You didn't know insurance.
Didn't know
but
shit.
You knew risk is the down payment for success.
You got to do it.
You had cojones.
Man, I either that or I'm just stubborn, you know. I don't know which one it is. Sometimes it's a fine line between them. But yeah, you just got to go for it and know that you're going to get your teeth kicked in. As I built my business, I've gone bankrupt twice, and I've lost 2 homes. So I believe that now qualifies me to be a multimillionaire.
Nice.
Right?
Absolutely.
You got to go bankrupt twice.
Yeah.
So I'm pre-qualified now.
Pre-qualified. You've also got Ferraris, you've got investments, and you got a nice company. Talk about like having success and how sometimes good is the enemy of great.
Good. Well, I guess complacency, you know, I got pretty good at the selling portion of it. The commissions in this business are so good, the margins are so good that I got good and comfortable being good. And then that led into other things, getting involved in other things like owning bars and doing rock shows and stuff like that as a promoter. Instead of striving towards greatness and becoming greatest and the best at what you're doing, I didn't do that.
It's a lesson that my dad taught me. He bought a bar whenever I was a kid, 5th to 6th grade, instead of being a roofer. And man, he lost a lot of money on the bar and he lost the time and attention. This is a big distraction.
I didn't know your dad had a bar.
Yeah, he did. And when him and my uncle were breaking up, part of the reason was he bought a bar at home. My uncle's like, bro, I need you selling roofs on the road. What are you doing over there at the honky tonk?
Was he a drinker?
No, he was sober when he bought a bar. I don't know what the hell was wrong with him. He literally was sober and he bought a bar. But that being said, I think sometimes when we have success, we find out that we get paid based on the size of the problems we solve and how many problems, and it can be fucked up. We kind of create a mess and we don't have systems and processes, and then you kind of want to run from your own business. You ever felt like that before?
Even now, you know, you kind of want to jump out of your own skin for about 5 minutes and then maybe do laps around the building or something. Jump right back into your skin and get back into the fight. But yeah, I totally know what you mean. And I can totally relate to that, yeah.
So walk me through, because a lot of these guys are trying to get to their first $1 million in sales. You really didn't know insurance. When did you start turning on the door knocking? When did you become a door knocker?
On and off, I've tried it, but really door knocking when I first, I guess dabbling in it because I'm not hardcore. I'm getting there. We're developing that, leading the teams on door knocking. But probably about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Keep in mind, I've been in business going on my 15th year.
Oh, so it was new. Maybe it was all that crazy shit we were doing in hardcore door to door. All that sign stabbing and stuff.
I love that shit, man.
I do too.
I tried doing one of those flying yard stabs by myself once when I was weighing about 275, 280.
275
First
pounds.
and last time I ever did it, man.
What happened?
Well, shit, I felt like I broke every bone in my body.
Oh,
imagine
man.
280 slamming down on the caliche floor.
The
Boom!
caliche floor in El Paso, man, it's not a lot of soft landing spots.
But I'm going to leave that to young, skinny guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest challenge for a selling CEO, what's your biggest challenge or the biggest constraint in your business?
Well, look, I enjoy selling. I still like the thrill of the close of the kill, that you will. And then not only that, but it's so fulfilling helping the customers, because they're all getting it from the insurance companies. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, you really like to give it to the insurance companies.
They're not in business they're in business to collect premiums. That's their primary purpose.
Screw people.
That's it, pretty much. I mean, and you know, all the cheesy sayings, you're in good hands, this and that. It's not true. So it is quite fulfilling to help them through the process and selling, but a lot of times you get caught up in the selling instead of developing the team, hiring, recruiting, and training, putting systems in place. And then, I mean, the way we're operating right now, probably about 45% of the volume is mine, with a sales force of 6, and we're constantly hiring. Still about 45% of sales are mine.
And a lot of it's because we're on a rebuilding phase. There was times where even you were partying and things were going on. I remember going to El Paso, badass steak dinner. We took a flight. It was cool as shit. You had a big YMCA project. You were doing the baddest people in the cities, and you know, you were kind of on top of your game. It got to like from 2 million to like 10 million over 2 years, or something, a year and a half.
I mean, it grew quite a bit.
What happened?
That one job we sold for the YMCA was $2.6 million. So that alone was a really big job. I sold that. They called in for repairs and tons of hail damage, and I sold it. And so that was a great experience and a great growth curve in that year. I mean, look, I can relate everything back to not growing, because at 15 years, you know, it really hasn't gone past that, and it's fallen back. We're rebuilding now, like you say.
But like you said, you were drinking.
It's a drink, man. It's a drink. I just turned 59, May the 2nd. I'm going on my next month. As a matter of fact, in 29 days, I'll be 2 years sober.
Holy shit!
So
man.
Congratulations, praise the Lord.
Thank the Lord.
And I mean, it's just a new life. But even so, man, it took me 9 months to clear my mind and to start refocusing and start thinking. I mean, I kid you not, I was getting damn close to being a wet brain. I don't know if you're familiar with what a wet brain is.
Yeah, I remember you're quite the hard-headed. I remember you were telling me one story about like a rock bottom moment, and it's a kind of bad story but funny.
Oh, okay.
The Ferrari story.
Which one? Which one out of all of them?
When you were wanted to fight somebody, what happened?
Man, I can't recall that one.
Oh,
or maybe I don't want to recall it.
Maybe you don't want to recall it. You said you talked shit to somebody, the wrong motherfucker, and he came at you when you were all drunk or something, and y'all got in a crazy fight.
I got my ass beat. I got my ass beat.
I feel your pain, bro. What was the rock bottom, though? That wasn't it.
Man, the rock bottom was alienating the people in my life, the people I love the most, treating them poorly.
Yeah.
You know, there's a consequence to pay. You know, you drink to hide from the pain, the problems, but you know, you sober up and for a day, because sometimes if you're drinking heavily, you don't sober up. It got towards the end, Lee, in the last 4 years of my drinking. It always gets worse and worse. It never gets better. So in the last 4 years, 3.5, 4 years. Bro, I was sneaking into 7-Eleven at 8:01, buying wine. I mean, hey, why liquor when wine is not as bad, you know? And so just to keep a little buzz. And here I am, a genius in the roofing industry.
Right, really good. You had $10 million in revenue.
But check it out. But then climbing roofs with a slight buzz, and is that insanity or what?
Did you fall off ever?
Never.
Never?
I've never fallen off.
And you've been drunker and cooler out there?
I think my balance was better, man. The one thing that does help is in El Paso, it's rare for a roof to be over a 512.
Okay, that does help. Kind of hard to fall off a fucking 512.
So I guess you can buzz a little bit in walk roofs, but all kidding aside,
you had a good team though. You had a whole. You were working with your family. You had some good guys, and I always say the hardest day is when you lose good people.
Totally.
And when you have an organization, the leadership, the fish rots from the head.
Yeah.
They're only as good as your leadership. And so do you think it was sort of not just the family stuff, but you had all this business that you think some of that was also the thing that made you really turn it around?
Well, I mean, hey, look, if you're not focusing on the business, you're engaged in other things.
Yeah.
You know, I owned a bar, nightclub. I got involved in doing rock shows, you know, from not A-listers, but like B+ listers, A- stuff like that. And so I was involved in a lot of other things, and I put someone in charge of the business. And obviously, if I'm not there, it's not going to be where it should be. And even when I was there, it was kind of casual and kind of laid back. So yeah, talking about the head rotting, the fish head rotting. Yeah, totally. If you're not there, you know, like you've said before, if you're at 100%, 110%, which I wasn't, and your other people are at 60, 70%, that's a good deal. Well, shit, if I'm at 70%, what are these other people going to be at? 40, 35%? It just doesn't work. I mean, it kept going, made money, good money, but not great, incredible, and the growth just wasn't there.
So you've always been able to, we've had success in the video ads and marketing in your market. Here recently, you started doing them yourself, though. And whether it's YouTube or Facebook, I mean, people know who you are in your market, right?
You know, it's kind of, it's funny. It's kind of like a quasi-celebrity. And when you do walk in, some people, it was funny, the lady was doing this therapy, this guy was doing her therapy, and I was there to sell her. She called me because of one of the ads I did on YouTube. By the way, YouTube ads work incredibly well. And then the guy doing the therapy says, "Oh, I know all about you. You do roofing."
So everybody knew you.
You know, and when you walk in and they know you have a greater degree of
brand recognition
and credibility, and so the closing is a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're the expert. You know what somebody told me once? Who the expert is?
We went and did a ad, one of the most famous, richest people in town, and that ad just ran on forever. I think I shot the video, and how many leads do you think you got from that?
Oh yeah, that's one you did. You did it kind of like 6 months after COVID started.
Yeah, and it was like a tile roof, right?
It was a tile roof, and you did an ad, and you talked about some other things, but man, we ran that thing for months and months on end.
Really, it just kept producing?
On average, it would produce between 2 and, on average, sometimes more, sometimes less, but between 3 and 5 leads a day.
Yeah.
For months on end.
Well, I want to do that again for you. This is what I was talking about.
Let's do it.
Get back to the selling CEO part of it. I think the beautiful thing is getting back to the roots of being a sales leader is what you do best. And you know, I was listening to a podcast today talking about on business. It's like a bodybuilder. You want your body to be balanced. You want your business to be balanced, but you want to focus on your strengths. Your strengths is sales leadership, right?
Right.
And some of these other things that get in the weeds, maybe they like to skip leg day a little bit. And by that, I mean whether it's the SOPs or the CRM or it's the follow-up on the insider training or all the basically defensive mechanisms from the collections or supplement or all those different things. And, you know, for me as a CEO that has all of the resources behind me, you know, my job is simple. Now all I got to do is sell my people on selling and show them that it works and get them fired up to go knock doors.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
Well, I mean, it's a growing pain right now. The selling CEO, yeah, I got to go out there and sell. And so when you're out there in the field, you can't devote as much time to all the things that you just mentioned. So, I mean, it's a challenge. We're growing through it, but I am focused now only on the roofing. And so I see a good outcome.
What I like about it is that you're coachable, that you're always coming for information, that you're evolving, that you're making the transformations, and then your brain is you start to change, whether it's your social media posts and the content or the ads. The next level is literally to take the things that are the weaknesses, delegate them, go all in on the strengths. We got to build a sales leader and a sales manager, and as long as the selling CEO is training his duplicate, as long as you're creating training, like those meta glasses, whenever I'm documenting.
Got to try those, man. Those are wild.
Let me explain to you how you get 3 times the effort out of one action. Because sometimes when the selling CEO is selling his own job, you could be doing other things. But if you create good content with the meta glasses, you can recruit people because you're showing them how easy it is. You can tell your team this is how you do it, so you can train your existing people. You can motivate your existing people because it shows that the CEO is out there doing it. And at the same time, you can grow your brand. And especially whenever you go into these people that really are like, no, they give you these crazy reactions.
Come at you with a gun?
Yeah, that one, we got more views off of that one, 1.5 million, than we did off Dude, it's
Dude, you didn't even run off. You kind of moseyed off, man.
I did kind of.
Were you in Texas?
Yeah, I was in Texas.
You had that Texas mood going.
No, I don't know what it was. I think it was because the guy's wife was in front of me.
Oh, okay.
But dude, he pointed the gun like at his wife.
Like he was drawing, ready to go.
Yeah, dude. And so he was a crazy old white guy that you probably. I mean, he had Navy shit, so he might have been Looney Tune and shot me. I don't know. I probably should have got out of there quicker.
Man, I would have. Goddamn.
I know. You know, El Paso is a crazy place. So, tell me a little bit about like what makes it a great market for roofing.
You know, it's an incredible place. It's growing insanely. Last time I checked, which was a few weeks ago, it is now the 13th largest city in the country, and it's growing incredibly fast. A lot of new people I go and see are New York, New Jersey, California. They come in and the homes are $250,000 there for a nice 3-bedroom. Where they're from, it's $1 million plus. So I mean, they just snap them up.
What's crazy about El Paso is there's not as many the immigration, and tell what's going on the border down there. I mean, tell us what's really going on.
Well, man, I'll tell you what. This will put it into perspective for you. 2 years ago, I'm catching the red eye at 6 a.m. Here I am waiting in the line, the TSA, tax-paying citizen, going through the zigzag, and all I hear is a VIP line, what I call the invaders, the immigrants. Man, by the dozen on a flight, boom, 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 they load them up. Here it is 2 years later, which was this last Friday, the exact same thing. They're just trickling in. You know, when they give that number that 330,000 have been flown in, I'd say that's just through El Paso. I feel for them. They're human beings, but we got enough issues here going on. But it is what it is. It's out of my control. I got to focus.
What is the Latin community in El Paso? Is it half and half? Is it people are for like stricter borders, or what do you think?
Super unique. The Latin community in El Paso, you know, and other places like even here and in Miami. We're in Naples now, but Miami, you know, you got a mix. A lot of Cubans, a lot of people from Latin America, Venezuelans, and so forth. So there's a mix. Some Mexicans too, but El Paso, because it's a crossing point, I guess, is a unique phenomena. Last time I checked, 84% Mexican heritage.
Oh, nice.
Very little of all the others.
Nice.
And it's not a minority; it's a majority of the population in El Paso.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Yeah.
That's
right. You were out there about four or 5 years ago.
Yeah, you were having a drink on the way. I rented a cheap airplane. What happened?
Dude, you were supposed to get a private jet.
This was a
and then we walk out there, right, to the private airfield, and there was this jalopy with 2 propellers, and there was this nice jet. You know, it seemed nice, right? It had the turbines and shit, and so we start walking. Or I started walking towards the nice one. I don't know if the pilot, dude, he had a gut out to here, man. One of those little ties just down to here, wouldn't go all the way.
Cheeseburger away from a heart attack.
Dude, and he had stains on his clothes and shit. His shirt wasn't halfway tucked in. And I think he directed us, oh, it's this one over here. And it was one with the 2 propellers.
The jalopy?
The jalopy, but you know what? I was prepped. I had my bottle of Macallan 18.
Yeah, you did.
We shot some content in there. It was fun. And then remember he fell asleep. I went and woke him up.
How'd you wake him up?
I went up and I slept. You know, he was just flat out asleep. And I'm like, dude, this thing is so old and so rackety. It doesn't have no autopilot.
By that time you had about 4 or 5 shots. You took
at least
big old paws. You slapped the shit out of him.
Wake the fuck up. Yeah.
It's a little uncomfortable silence there for a minute, wasn't there?
He didn't fall back asleep though, did he?
No, he didn't. So, man, tell me, like, you know, guy comes to work with you. What do you think the most important part for a new guy is to get established, get his first 25 deals? How do you get him started?
Well, look, what we do is we do a 2-day training, and on hindsight, we probably need to do at least a 3 or 4 day training. And then it finishes on a Friday. And then we're out hitting the streets door knocking that Saturday. We try to get a deal under them that first day, and within 2 weeks at least to get a couple deals. My goal is, and our goal is, to get 5 deals under the newest guy so that they stay in.
Yeah, I think you do a really good job of it too. I've seen a lot of the guys come in your program and work underneath you and get to 40, 50, 60 roofs in a year. What's a guy that sells 50 roofs in a year making El Paso?
I mean, look, let's look at the numbers here. The average roof being, let's call it 14, well, 14.5. Let's call it $14,000. If it's a self-gen, it's 10% off the top. I mean, 12% off the top. But if it's a company gen, it's 10%. So let's do that. 1,400. You know, a couple of those a week. You know, and after they build a pipeline for 3 months, that's, you know, there's 2 popping off.
Yeah.
And so if you do the math, that's like $98,000 a month, a year. Yeah.
And you know, 100 grand's a great start in El Paso. I mean, there's a lot of people hurting for 100.
It's not what it used to be, but I mean, hey, you know.
What about the younger Latin crowd? Because I see this new breed of entrepreneur in the roofing industry that is a young Latin hustler. And you know, isn't that sort of like we've had a lot of young people come in and learn the business and really excel, even grow and start their own businesses?
I mean, I gotta be honest with you, not a lot of people out there do any social media, so I don't really know what's going on with them, and other than what I see in other cities on social media. I know some of the guys that have left the company have started their own thing, but you know, I've never seen it go beyond them. I mean, because it's, you know, it's tough.
Well, I've seen a lot of people, you know, come through your program, make their first 100,000, then move on to making 150, 200,000 a year every year after that, regardless if they do it with you. And throughout this like transformation that I see that just a ton of potential of what's to happen. And you know, what's really exciting is giving you more support, because this makes me more, I always liked you, but now I want to give you more of my resources, you know, and that allow you to do what you do best. And really, like, building a balanced body means, okay, if you're not good at the defense, or you're not, I skipped leg day for a long time. The way that I fix that is, you know, in business, I'm going to add the person that I'm missing. I'm going to fix the who, because it's not usually how to fix the business, it's adding a who. And that's why I wanted you to meet every single person, whether it's the HR department or the collections or the person that's in charge of the appointments from the Facebook ads. Having a central, like, Charlie's Angels group of people that support you so you do what you do best and just sell. That's the vision of the platform.
That's a vision, and we were talking about it before coming out here to do the podcast, because that's at a separate building where your headquarters is at. So I got to meet some of the key players, and it's amazing, these people in leadership positions, they're all ladies.
They are.
Right on.
I mean, the thing is that sometimes the boys are a little bit reckless. They don't communicate as well. To be real with you, when it comes down to operations, my wife, she's better than me. You know, it comes down to, it's funny, even in Alex Hermosi and Layla Hermosi, she's the operations.
She's the details.
And when it comes to Andy Elliott and his wife, she's the operation piece.
Is that right?
So, you know, maybe, and here recently, you know, you got your wife involved in the business, but having more female influence has really been a lot of the reason why my organization has matured. Now, that being said, they still need that masculine door-to-door recruit, hire, train, retain, and push sales first before anything else exists. And that's really like when you get caught in the weeds as a selling CEO and you're not recruiting and taking new guys out, and you're not pushing, if you're doing order materials or supplements, or you're handling problem jobs, or you're doing payroll, or you're doing production, these are all things that someone else can do. And so you have to realize, like, okay, instead of, you know, having unreliable people, because sometimes, like, we had one of the kids, remember the guys, I call him a kid, the guy in the program that was like, I hired a production manager, and then he was an idiot, and I didn't want to train him. I gave him the videos on how to do it, and since he didn't figure it out, I fired him.
Who was that?
We can't tell names. But he didn't want to train his production manager. He just wanted to
He just gave him the videos, and he didn't watch them, so he fired him?
And that's crazy, but, I mean, in the end, if you're going to groom somebody into a position, they may be half as good as you. You may have to work to get them up to 70 to 80% as good as you. As a matter of fact, Shira, who is arguably one of the most important people in our whole entire company, she was a Einstein Brothers bagel attendant, and she was managing a bagel shop. But she's hungry, she's coachable, she has my most important core value, personal development. So out of all these years, you know, I feel like one of the things that is basic in business that people forget is just like the 12 steps, core values, meeting structure. So you feel like that's, what are the core values?
So, hey, look, the core values is loyalty, personal development, results, accountability. And they're kind of new. We just developed these a few months ago.
Oh, nice.
There's 5, and I got 4 memorized. I need to, obviously, I need to memorize all 5. But going back to what you said, you opening up the door for us to have more of your resources, that's going to be incredible, because now, you know, you've heard a famous billionaire, I think it was Mark Cuban. He's famous for, one of his famous quotes is, sales cures all woes. I believe it was him. But how are you going to have the sales if you're not doing the recruiting? Because if you're not doing the recruiting, and knowing that there's a certain fallout in a commissions only basis, you know, without the recruiting that's nonstop and never ends, which you say is first and foremost, you are to be a recruiting organization.
And
because without that, there's no sales.
There's no sales. And the idea that if a guy knocks his own doors, he's generating a free lead. And as a selling CEO, if you love selling, just fall in love with selling people on selling. And trust the process. Trust how long it takes. Have faith. Don't get pissed off when people drown or when they start their own business. And that is where the selling CEO can really become this $100 million guy. And even though I'm not the most organized, I'm not the best at firing people, I don't like following the rules, I had to change all that. I had to kill the old me to become the new me and things. But I still, at nature, make the most for my company when I'm a selling CEO. And so if you're watching this, it can be both a gift and a curse to sell your own jobs. You have to watch when you're selling your own jobs, are you also spending the time training other people around you? Are you spending the time on the back end? If you're ignoring and not training and don't have the systems, would it be better for you to partner up with somebody who did?
So absolutely. So going back to what you said, more of the resources that you bring to the table, obviously, there's no sense in reinventing the wheel, especially when you have all those things in place that you're going to be offering us now. Now I can go back, and the goal and the priorities for when I go back is to sell, to recruit, and to find a replacement for me, and just keep growing that way, recruiting and selling and training and being out there and growing the company in sales, because all of the other details, or a lot of the other details, are going to be
Well, the answer to the
handled.
problem of you selling too much is actually you're going to keep selling. Here's what we're going to do. You're just going to turn over all the production, all the other stuff, and you're going to make sure that you put 10 to 15 hours a week in the recruiting process alone. There's going to be a lot of different things that are added to your schedule that are just for that. Then we're going to have a couple potential sales leaders that we're going to be grooming, right? And we got some people, we might as well try to train somebody that we got. Now, they may not be the right person, but we'll train them up and make them as good a leaders as we can. And so, that being said, if you document your wins, if you actually go out there, get a pair of meta glasses, record some of your door-to-door objections, we have a lot of different tools.
I'm going to order some tonight.
And I'm going to help you whenever I come to visit. I'm going to show you how to create content. Like, I can set it up. I just set it up with Alex. We did a trip. But the way we shoot our content to get game tape recruits, game tape trains, game tape motivates. Game tape takes the selling CEO and multiplies it. What is game tape? Game tape is where you get a microphone, you got a cameraman sitting in the truck, the cameraman gets your door-to-door objections, get the customer reactions. We get to see how Rick is out there in action. You get to show everybody in your element.
I'm nervous.
Isn't that fun? Doesn't that sound like fun, though?
It is, man. It makes for the coolest content. I love because it's amazing. You come up with a lot of different ideas, and I guess suddenly your viewership and your subs peak, right? Because it's great content.
Well, I mean, you know, I'll be honest with you, a lot of the subscribers, there may not be people that are going to ever buy anything from me. But what I've realized is that my purpose in life is to bring awareness to our opportunity. And to be honest with you, the posts where people have the most hatred at me, it creates arguments, and those are the ones that go the most viral. So I think we're on to something. If you're watching this, you're a roofing contractor, you're in roofing sales, everybody wants to grow on social media. We've got something that these other internet gurus don't have. We fix real problems. We're outside in a dangerous job. We're fighting evil entities, insurance companies. Customers are throwing us off the roof. We're dealing with, I mean, you ever had an argument with a subcontractor before?
Sure.
Okay. Well, next time.
I had 3 or 4 of them come at me. I said, hey, let's go. But 2 of you are going off before I do. Over the parapet wall.
Can you imagine if you would have had the game tape, if you would have been filming during that? Now, is that the best part for your brand? Look, here's the thing. Guys, do the next right thing. Sometimes I do kind of wear my emotions on the sleeve. I look back at some of my YouTube content. It's kind of cringe. But I will not lie. Like, everyone's seeing this journey. I'm building a $1 billion company. I'm going from a guy that was just a wannabe Grant Cardone, you know, a door-to-door storm chasing gypsy, up and down. Even though I was making good money, hundreds of thousands, I was sort of a paycheck-to-paycheck guy, spending more than I made. You know, so I learned, and I built real net worth. I built a real organization, and one of the things that kept me honest and made me who I am is I am the biggest student of our mastermind. Guys like you and everyone else teach me. You've been in it a while.
Dude, I'll tell you what, we go back 8 years. I don't think anyone's been involved in your program in some capacity longer than me. We go back 8 years, and I tell you something, I'm really proud of you, and I've told you before, and I'll tell you now, and I'm a big supporter. I've seen the way you've changed and grown, and you got some big plans. Matter of fact, I think you were doing something pretty exciting over the weekend. You had to take a red eye to keep your commitment with me here today.
But that's what it is. Like, I got to be willing at times to, you know, I knew that we had our podcast on the line, and then, you know, Andy Elliott's, I got a big deal that I'm working, and if you made it to this far in the podcast, I'm going to give you a little nugget. We're doing a big event, me and Andy Elliott. It's going to be a revolution, roofing revolution. And guys, let me tell you something. This is the easiest sell in America. There is no better way to break out of the rat race, and we're gonna like break it all down for people that are trying to get in the business, people that are already in the business, owners, and we're trying to do something big. We're trying to roll up 100+ roofing companies and create a $1 billion footprint over the next 5 years, and we're gonna document it all on fucking YouTube.
I love it. Hey, a quick shout out to El Paso. Look, if you're looking for a way to make 6-figure income in your first year alone, we can teach you how to get that done in 6 to 9 months. It doesn't have to take the first year. In fact, you can do it quicker than that. You know, as Lee says, it's solving big problems for big paychecks. We've got the blueprint ready to go. Come on board, DM us, call us, All Star Construction and Roofing. We'll get you going. We'll get you rocking and rolling.
What's your Instagram handle?
Rick C915.
Rick C915. Hit him up a DM on Instagram. We're partnering up. We've done a lot of marketing together. We've done a lot of work together. This man's made a transformation. He was already driving Ferraris, doing 8 figures, but then he really got his shit straight. And now it's been 2 years, and we're taking the fucking West Texas market.
Let's go. Let's do it.
We're taking Las Cruces over. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're in sales, you want to connect with me or out in that area, Rick is my partner. Let's all work together. Let's collaborate tonight. Dominate. Part-time, full-time. We'll plug you in. And, man, dude, I'm telling you, this is going to be fun, dude.
I'm excited, man. Let's do it.
All right. Well, I want to go back out to El Paso.
You got to come back out, bro.
There's crazy stuff out there. Tunnels all throughout the city. The whole what's going on underground?
Dude, I guess El Chapo is still in action, huh?
El Chapo is still in action. Hey.
Yeah, I swore the next, what was it, Narcos?
Yeah.
Man, the way the last one ended is like, oh, the next one's going to be about El Chapo.
I see all
but
these
it never came.
I see all these YouTubers doing these crazy YouTubes, and I thought, man, what if I could, like, go undercover and fucking sneak across the border with all the immigrants? I would do it for YouTube. But I do, when I come to El Paso, want to do door-to-door, and I want to, like, create some content about the issue on the border. Interview some people, see what's going on.
You know, it's weird. Just 2 weeks
see if
ago,
we can sneak in and sneak across.
Dude, I think because I get my dental work done in Juarez.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, because I mean it's like 80% less, and they treat you like royalty. They really do.
Except for those surfers.
Huh?
The American surfers that got killed over there recently.
Ooh.
No,
Where?
That was in Tijuana, not Juarez. Is it
Okay.
worse over there?
I only go there for my dental work, but coming across 2.5 hours, bro. I'm like, fuck. I'm gonna walk across the river. I'm gonna get. You know, they're going to load me up in an Uber that I don't have to pay for with a border patrol. They give me a card for $2,100. Shit. They gave me a house to live in. I'm set, bro. I might just do that next time.
Just leave your car and.
So if my wife is listening, that's what we're going to do. Next time we go get our dental work, we're going to cross walking, and we're each going to get $2,100, and then we'll get off the Uber and the government Uber and just walk home.
Man, hopefully we get some changes up here. Hopefully we get some changes. Trump's in the office. What do you think?
Man, Trump 2024. That's all I can tell you.
Hey, we hope that happens, man. Guys, go follow Rick. We're going to be documenting our door-to-door blitz in El Paso. We're going to go to the tunnels. We're going to see if we can find El Chapo's people. We're going to give you a live report from the border. So follow Rick. If you're in West Texas, let's sell together.
All right.
Hey, thanks for watching my YouTube channel. Look, subscribe, get notifications, because we're coming every week with door-to-door videos, interviewing successful blue-collar millionaires, finding out exactly what they did, going from living paycheck to paycheck to making that golden paycheck, baby. There's a gold rush in roofing, and we're showing what it's like, scaling our company to $1 billion, creating 100 multimillionaires along the way. Now, a lot of times we do silly things like roofer versus adjuster videos, door-to-door blitz videos where we get thrown off the front porch, but we do it for your viewing pleasure and to raise the status for the blue-collar entrepreneur. So look, subscribe, tell your friends. That's the cost of admission. I want to help you sell your first million, scale to 10 million, and then maybe be a part of our $1 billion plan. Look, subscribe, get notifications so you don't miss anything that happens right here on this epic roofing and contracting growth channel.